for a super short week because of the holiday weekend and a professional development. We are going into week 5, so I'm going to talk very briefly about what that looks like in our kindergarten immersion classroom. We are starting phonics next week, so we're going to be using the Sonidos Iniciales by the Estrellita program. My first math intervention for kiddos is counting the numbers and showing how many. So we're working on numbers to 10. I also have a few friends who are still working on handwriting, so we've got these handwriting notebooks here for all of my kids who need practice with their names. Our libro de colores is almost complete. We just need to really bind everything and put it together. I have one of my groups that didn't finish one color, so next week we need to do one color more. In Eureka Math, we're on Module 1. We'll be doing lesson 14 on Monday, 15, 16, 17, and 18. This week we completed working on numbers, describing numbers 0 to 3. So next week they'll have a 3 craft. This is from Simply Kinder. They just cut apart the pieces and add it to the number 3. We also started Fast Bridge testing, which is the testing that we use to assess our students. So we'll be doing that during purposeful playtime. Their homework and exit tickets and practice sets have all been stapled. We're using these in fluency groups this week. We're doing fluency for 12-minute increments. One of the fluency is a handwriting fluency, so they're working on this in one of the groups. This is just the handwriting line. I do have some that have the yellow highlights, adapted hand lines for my kids who are wearing glasses or don't have like the best vision or tracking ability. I used to teach the 5 senses, but this year in their English classroom, this book in English has become a part of their curriculum. So next week I'm going to use this as a read aloud just to teach some new vocabulary, but it's not going to be our focus story. Our focus story is going to be Las jirafas no pueden bailar. We're going to be talking about main idea and, story structure and characters and some new vocabulary. This will be the first time we're doing a shared reading in the Spanish immersion classroom. This week, my students did an awesome job learning how to use their dry erase boards and markers correctly. We're counting 0 to 9 currently and writing very well up to the number 3. Our pattern stayed the same even though the month changed. We're still doing an AB pattern. This week we learned about the zonas de regulación using the color monster story in Spanish. So next week we'll do probably 2 or 3 lessons just reinforcing these 4 zones, encouraging them to stay in the green zone. I am going to leave this up for one more week. My kids are really starting to get the hang of just some silly sayings in Spanish, so I want to leave it up for just a little bit longer before I switch it out to something different. We really are making some progress. My children are greeting me in the hallway, greeting me in different places of the building in Spanish, which is very exciting. They also are almost fully converted to talking about days of the week in Spanish, and we've got all of our numbers to 3 in Spanish. So there's not as much translating during the Spanish lesson, math lesson, as there was last week. We're getting the hang of it. Lots of gestures, lots of photos.